Shawnee Smith has a long career in film, TV and music. One of her most memorable roles was the Airheads secretary Linda on the hit sitcom Becca, but more recently co-starred alongside Charlie Sheen in Anger Management. However, what you might not know is that she converted to Orthodoxy over a year ago. Now, after a long journey towards the truth, Shawnee is working on a documentary film called Orthodoxy, a love story, where she shares not only her own story, but that of ordinary Orthodox from across America. Shawnee, welcome to the show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. Thanks for your interest in our little movie. Thank you.
Now, it's only been recently you've opened up about your conversion, but what was your spiritual life like growing up and later on as an adult?
I was raised Lutheran, but I was always a seeker of truth. And of course, in this day and age, there were many different ways to pursue that. So as I got older, I tried various Christian denominations and studied Eastern philosophy and just like mining for truth. So I've always been on that journey of mining for truth and for love. So this is a lifetime journey, right?
What events sparked this journey back to the ancient church?
Well, speaking to this ever-changing world, everything moves so fast now, and in this culture of seeking pleasures for ourselves and thinking about ourselves first, and this endless variety of choices, and I think growing up as an actress, it was such an extreme change in the cast of characters in my life all the time that I really started looking for what was permanent, and unchanging, if there was such a thing. So I began to look for a Christian church that had the least room for personality and personal preference, which led me to the Catholic Church. And Verve and I converted to Catholicism. And then, there began to be all kinds of changes within the Catholic Church. And we moved and I went to the local Catholic Church, and they were like throwing a balloon around the service, and everyone was all excited, and I thought, what's happening? And at that point I was visiting my brother, and he had this book written by Father Seraphim Rose, and I picked it up and was read and said, what is the Orthodoxy? What's that? Is it Judaism? Or, like most Americans, I had no clue. And that was the beginning of my introduction to Orthodoxy. And then I found this book called Heterodoxy versus Orthodoxy. And it was like a relief. I read that book all in one night, and the next morning, and I looked at the author, I looked up what church he was a member of, and then I found one close to where we were living at the time, and saw they had a 6 a.m. service, and I showed up there with my 3 children at 6 a.m. I got them out of bed in their pajamas. I says, come on, we're going on an adventure. He says, what's happening? I said, there was a movie I'm sure you've never seen. Well, I'm sure, because I'm their mother. They've never seen it. I said, but there were a couple guys in black suits, with black ties and black sunglasses and hats. And they said, we're on a mission from God. They thought I probably finally lost my mind. But we showed up for the 6 a.m. service, and it was beautiful. The music, the icons, I'd never experienced anything like it. It was like being on the shores with the apostles. It's pretty ancient and unchanged. So our priest almost fell over when we were there the next morning. we showed up again and converted a year later.
What aspects of the church impressed you?
The atmosphere, the icons, the tradition, the deep tradition in every service, the music. It's very ancient and traditional, and it requires a full participation. Well, I guess you can go through the motions in anything, but it is constantly beckons one to fully participate, and instead of like performing out an act in a remembrance of something that happened thousands of years ago, it's like you're participating in it in the present moment, and you can feel the presence of the saints in Christ and the awesomeness of the Eucharist. You know, it just becomes very real. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before. And all the families within the church, it really encourages a beautiful family life, and that really blew me away. Right? Because who's encouraging the family anymore? Like everything around us is encouraging us to separate and just think about ourselves, you know, and how we're going to perfect our Starbucks order even more tomorrow morning.
Being an Orthodox Christian is a lifelong process. What have you learned about yourself so far?
Yes. Oh, isn't it an ongoing process of growth and discovery? The greatest thing about the Orthodox Church is you start with accepting yourself as the worst sinner of all. I am the worst. I am, forgive me, a sinner, of whom I am chief. So, kind of takes the pressure off, you know? It's like, okay, I want you to be real. Whereas I think the Protestant approach, which is how I spent more of my lifetime, was this kind of judgmental, legalistic, you know, you're bad, you're doing this wrong. So it's like, I never wanted to know myself, really. I just learned to be a better and better actress. While meanwhile, inside, I'm just feeling like a jerk off all the time, but trying to like shine myself up on the outside and make it okay in these, ridiculous ways, like my physical appearance, like that's gonna last. So it's been this wonderful self-discovery of what an arrogant person I am. Oh my gosh. Selfish, gluttonous. What else? Lazy. Ooh, man, but the truth shall set you free. So, and as an artist, this all can work beautifully together. So all these truths that I accept about myself, and then begin to work with myself from like where I'm at, start at the truth, and then I can begin to have a relationship with God, Christ, because he can meet me there. If I allow him to see me for who I am, then hey, we have a place to start. And it's really a relief after so many years of running from oneself to finally just be okay with being the worst. And no pressure there, right? If you start from the bottom, you can only go up. It's pretty nice to have a relationship like that. And all of that I can bring to parts that I play as an actress. So I figure when I'm, in my 80s, maybe my 90s, I'll be doing my best work.
Now let's talk about your exciting new documentary film, Orthodoxy, A Love Story. What's this project about, and why did you feel the need to make it?
Thank you for wanting to talk about Orthodoxy, A Love Story. It's a very simple little movie. with a very simple aim to just be an icon, so to speak, or a reminder of what family looks like. It's so beautiful, it's like celebrating the sanctity of family, of life, and in the life of the church, it's kind of like a family for dummies, It gives you the tools and the way to grow closer to God by serving each other. And if you think about it, the family is really the perfect setup to practice these things. You have your children and you love them so much that you're willing to sacrifice for them. This is the idea of the family, But we're in a culture that is just constantly bombarding us every day, encouraging us to think about ourselves first and to pursue our own pleasures first, and as if a family would be there to serve us, and if they stop serving us, then we just dump them and find a new one. But humans aren't made to be dumped, and it's not human to treat each other like that. And when you start to treat another person like a human, then you start to remember what it is to be human. And, that's a shift.
Why is this project so important to you?
Oh, so I thought it might be useful to share my story and reflect upon my life and the shift that began to occur when I began to be able to consider someone else before myself. This was a major repentance, and by repentance I mean in its true form as Father Patrick described to me and blew my mind, because I did not have an understanding of repentance like this. He said, repentance is a shift in perspective and then acting on that shift. So that was a profound repentance. And it changes everything, and it makes the possibility of a beautiful family and life possible. So I thought, well, maybe if someone sees that someone is spoiled and arrogant and selfish as I could make this shift to any degree, maybe that might encourage them. That's all.
Where have you filmed and where are you off to next?
Well, we've done all of our shooting in Los Angeles with the exception of our recent trip to Louisiana, where we stayed with Rod Dreher and his beautiful family and spent time at their sweet mission church that Father Matthew is the priest at. That's a sweet story I can't wait to share with everybody in the movie. That was a great trip. They made a crawfish boil for us, and Rod made a blog about it, and the Orthodox community just lit up and responded. It's like everyone's excited to share the secret with the rest of America. It's the best kept secret. Where are we off to next? Well, when we finish phase 1 of shooting, and we're going to edit some things from that and launch our Indiegogo campaign, and hopefully get real financing for phase 2. And then we would love to go up to Platina and visit the monastery there, St. Herman of Alaska, and get to Alaska. And I don't know, I'm from South Carolina, and I just saw this movie called Orthodoxy. So now, of course, we have to go to South Carolina, right? And we got this big dream to go to Russia, film some of the oldest monasteries over there. Woo! Show that beauty. Could you imagine a movie about beauty and love and family and life? Oh, sounds delightful.
Who are the filmmakers you're working with?
Oh, we have a great crew of these young, very talented men who are not afraid to work hard for not a lot of money. And that's delightful. It's like that kind of attitude is you can't pay enough money for. So that really permeates all of the filming, is the spirit behind the camera. So I'm very grateful for that. And my co-producer is the most experienced of all of us as far as making films. Rotimi Rainwater. That's quite a name, right? It's his real name. So he's kind of bringing us all along, and we're teaching each other, and it's just been a great experience. We're having a ball together, and it shows on the film.
How would you describe the filmmaking experience, and what have you found to be most challenging?
This is my first time directing, and I don't know if I'll keep doing it because it's really hard. So, what's the most challenging aspect? Oh gosh, that's all challenging for me. You know, I'm kind of like getting a crash course in directing and producing, and standing tall on Rotimi's shoulders and the crew's shoulders. But my intentions are true, so I got that going for me. Kind of like when Father Patrick called me up during Vespers one day to the podium and said, "Hey, Shawnee, sing this chant, just kind of follow my notes." And I almost passed out. I had never done anything like this in my life. And I look up at him, and he says, "Go on," and he points his finger where I'm supposed to say. And I look around. I had I wasn't getting out of this. And I figure everybody there loves me, and my intentions are true to serve God and the people around me. So I just did it. I think really badly, but my heart was in the right place. So that's kind of the feel of this experience, directing and producing this movie. It's great. It's a great place to be in.
So what's happening now, and what's the next step in making this film a reality?
Well, we've just finished filming for what we call Phase 1, which is the phase that I financed because I didn't want this movie I didn't want to give my head a lot of time, my thoughts and ideas a lot of time to direct this movie. I really wanted to give it a chance to reveal itself because it feels like something that is so much bigger than my thoughts and ideas, for sure. I feel like I'm kind of, I serve it. And I know you can't go out and make a movie that esoterically. You have to kind of have an idea of what you want to shoot. And I drive my producing partner, Rotimi, a bit crazy with this. But I says, well, I want to put this money towards it and shoot some stuff. And we'll steer it to a degree, but I really want to let it reveal itself. So we've done that filming, and now we start the editing process, which is really exciting for me because now I get to see and start forming, letting it form. And then we will do a couple short films and launch an Indiegogo campaign because I'm out of money. And now I need other people's help and support. So I've made a start, and then hopefully y'all can jump in for Phase 2. on the Indiegogo campaign. And if you keep in touch with us through the Facebook page now, which is facebook.com, I guess, and Orthodoxy, a Love Story, then we will keep everybody up to date as to when we'll launch that campaign. And we can share this beautiful faith and this beautiful family life with the rest of America.
How do you intend to market and release it?
Well, I have high hopes for this film. I'm planning on it coming out in the movie theaters like any other movie, with the support of the Orthodox and Christian community, and maybe even a little studio support in the end. You never know. We just might end up with a beautiful, wildly entertaining, surprisingly humorous punk rock film about wholesomeness. I mean, come on, family's the new rebellion, right?
And once again, where can our listeners learn more about Orthodoxy, a Love Story?
Right now, to connect with us for this film, just go to Facebook and type in Orthodoxy, a Love Story, and you'll find us. And wherever we go from there, we'll go together, and that's where we'll let you know.
Shawnee, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And can I just add, I thought you were fantastic as Linda and Becca. She always made me laugh.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks so much for spreading the word. And yeah, I have a special affinity in my heart for Linda, too. I really miss her. People always said she was, a dumb airhead, but I says, no, she's no airhead. It's just that her brain has a front door and a back door, so things just flow through it. She's real refreshing to me.
Well, I definitely think the world can do with a few more Lindas. Thank you for joining us on the show today. God bless you and this fantastic project.
All right, thank you for having me. Goodbye.